Uh, Hi everyone. So this video is about how to customize the contact creation from the account object by using Lightning flows. So I have a test scenario. So in this example, I have a team who manage the contact information from the sales representatives. So what the sales reps generally do is whenever they're creating any contacts and they want to notify about some particular contacts information to the risk team, and they have two particular requirements. So stating that they want the ability to select the risk specialist from the contact creation screen, and also they want to capture whom the person they selected on the screen. Now, as we can see here, we through the current standard new button, it only allows us to select some default fields like first name, last name, and email with account information also. And this doesn't give us a flexibility to pick up the risk analyst and notify him whenever you're creating the contact. Now, to solve this issue, we can go with the Salesforce flows, where you can build a new screen and give the required a screen for the sales users. Now, we'll start our demo first. I'm in the contact, so I'm going to click on the new contact button. So this is the current screen that we have. So where the user enter and create different contacts. As per the requirement, we can create a flow and solve the issue that sales rep currently having. So I'm going back to the flows. So I'm on the flows, and we can click on the new flow, and this opens a screen for us. And we have multiple options to create the flows here, so we can go with the screen flow or we can go with the auto launch flow. But in our example, we need the screen representation, so we are going with the screen flow. So we'll select the screen flow and click on create. Now this is a screen we do not have any interaction windows or any logical or any data windows here. So as the first part, if I go back to the new contact screen, I need to auto populate the account name first. So to solve this case, I am going to get the records from the data level. So I'll create a label as get account, and I need to select the object also here. So in my case, it's account object, and I need to get the account which is related to the record that I am clicking the button. So we select the field as ID, and we select the value also. So as per Salesforce, we can create a variable as a record ID, and we can represent the record ID here. So what will happen is that variable holds the ID of the account basically. So I'm going to create a new variable through here, and I give the API name as record ID, and this can be a text value, and we don't need to enter any default value here, and we just need to click on done. So now we have the now we are storing the ID of the account. Now we have the record ID value, where we can use it for auto populating the account field whenever we are creating a contact record. So this step is completed. Now we'll just link these two nodes, and now we need a screen to build the required fields. So in this screen, so what we can do is we first need to select different fields that are required for this flow. Now I'm going back to here. So we need a pick list field as the first step. So we can go here. We can select pick list. So let's take this one, and we can give the value as input. Input salutation. So that's the label and API name we provided, and we do not have any default value. and we need a choice set basically. So we'll go here. We can pick up the pick list type. So let's take the pick list choice set. We'll say salutations, and we'll select our object because we can pick the values directly from different objects. So in this case, we can pick up the contact object. Through contact, we can select the pick list type, and we can select the required fields. In our case, it is salutation, and we can select if we want to go with the ascending or descending. By default, Salesforce gives us, we can go with the default order that we currently have. So I'm just keeping the same value that Salesforce is providing us, and I'm clicking on save. We can just change the label as salutation. Okay. So now I have a value with the default values here, and I have the record choice set also. Now we'll add the next field. So next field is the first name. So we can pick up the text from here. So let's pick up the text, and we give the name as the first name. So that's a label, and we can just keep the same name. And if you want, you can make this one as required through screen, and we'll add the next one as the last name. And we can make it as required, and then we have the email and phone, so we can pick up the text. We can see if I have for email. Okay, so we can pick up the email field here, and we can give this one as email, and we have the email label field here, and we can provide some default values which we currently require. It's not required as per our requirement. So we have the email. Now we need a phone field. We can pick up the phone, and we'll add the phone field here, and we'll give the label as phone. Now we have the phone field, and we can provide different patterns, or we can add some more required values here. And the next field we have is the account. So we can go with the lookup field directly. We don't need to use the record choice set. So I'm going to select the lookup, and I'll give the name as let's say I'm just giving the name as input account name, and I have to select the API name of the field basically. So in this case, we need to select the API name of the account which is in the contact object. So I'm going to select the API name as account ID. That is the API name that we have. And then we need to select a label. So our label is going to be account name, and then we need to select the object API name. That is what is our target object that we are going to place the record. So in this case, our target object is contact. And record ID is a default ID basically. Like whenever we are creating the record, we need to auto populate the lookup field. So this is the default ID as per the Salesforce documentation. So we can pick up the field that we created previously as the record ID, and we don't need to add any other values in this case. So this is all set. Let's see if we have any more fields. So we have one more text called title. So we can add the text here. I will give it as the title. So we have the title field here. We don't need to default anything. Okay, now we'll add a toggle field. So by using the toggle field, what we can do is we can give an option for the sales user, like if they want to add a risk analyst for the particular contact. So what toggle will do is based on enable or disable selection, we can handle to show or hide the risk analyst lookup that we are going to create in the next time. next flow. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide some required values to the toggle field. So we can give some name as input toggle field toggle, and we can give the name as would you like to inform risk analyst, and we can have an active label, like if you want to add it, enable, and we can have an active label also. Then we need to provide a value here. So basically by default we need which value we want to show, so we can go with the false condition, so the toggle will represent as a false value. Then after that we need to add the another lookup for selecting the risk analyst. So in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some default API name as input risk analyst, and we need to select a field here, basically with the field that we are planning to update. So in our case it is going to be the risk analyst, so that is from the contact object. I'll just step back to the contact to get the API name. And we can go to the contact object manager and select the contact object, and let's go to the fields, and for the risk, so we have a field called risk analyst here. So all we have to do is we have to pass the API name of the field here, and let's give the label as risk analyst, and we need to select the object as contact in this case. And if you want to make this one as required, and then we can make this one as required as well, but in this case we don't need to make it as required, but we want to add a condition here, basically when we want this field to be visible. So I'm going to select a condition here as the required condition, it has to be true. So in my condition I'm going to select the toggle field. So from the toggle field I'm going to select the value, and when I have the value, then only I'm going to select when the value is true, then only I want to display the lookup. So then click on OK, and we'll click on done. Okay, now we have the screen here as create contact. I'm going to link these two and click on save. We'll give the name as create contact from account, and yeah, we don't and this is going to be screen flow for us. We don't need to make any changes for this requirement. I'm just going to save, and we'll try to run it to see what screen that is going to come up. So let's see, in this case we have a default value here. We can give the first name, last name, and best. Let's see how this works. So this is also working fine. So based on the field we are showing the risk analyst lookup. So this is all working fine. We'll go back, and we built the screen. Now we are going to create the record. So for that one we are going to select the create record option. So we'll say create contact record. So we selected this one. Now we're planning to create only one record, so we have to select the value as 1, and we need to pass field values separately. And in this case we are going to select which object that we are going to create the record. So I'm going to select the contact in this example. contact. Okay. I selected the contact object. Now we'll add the fields one by one. So we'll start with our first field. So we have, okay, so the fields that we have is the salutation. So we'll go with the salutation. So the salutation value. So we're going to select the value as input salutation. And our next field is first name, last name, and email. So we can add first name here. So first name, I'm going to map it with the first name, and the next value is last name, and it's going to be the last name, and is phone. Map it with the phone. So we'll go with the phone value, and the other fields are account name, and we have title. So I'll select the account ID with the account. So we can directly pass the record ID here. So we have the account, and then we what we need is we have the account, then we need title with the title, and our final value is the risk analyst. We're going to select the value as input risk analyst. We need the record ID basically. So selected the value, and we mapped all the required fields in the screen. Now we just click on done. So we have the screen for creating the records also, and we're all set. Actually, for the record ID, what we have to do is we need to enable this checkbox, because we can pass the record ID into that field. So this is also set. Okay, now until this part we are able to create the record. Now our next action is going to be, we need to send the email alert to the end users. So for that one, we need to capture whom we should send the email. So for that one, what we will do is we will get the opportunity record first. I mean the opportunities risk analyst user ID. In this case, I'm going to add get risk user from contact, and I'm going to select the object as so in this case we need the user object. Basically we need to get the user ID. So let's select the user. Where is it? Okay, so okay, we have the user here, and I'm going to take the ID field from here. So we have the user ID, and I'm going to take the user ID from here. So that's the risk analyst, and I can pick up the ID. Now I have the required value, and I'm going to click on save. So with this one, we have the record ID that we require. Then we are going to add a screen here. We're going to add an action. So we can, Salesforce gives us two options. One, you can select the default email, send email, or we can go with picking it up from the email alert. So in this case, I'm just going to select the send email, and I'll give the details as send email to risk users, and I'll mention as new contact notification, and here we can add the field first. So from here we can go to the we can pick it up first name and the last name. and we can add our subject, or we can directly pick it up something called text template, where you can customize the template as per our requirement. So I'm just going to add a default subject here. Contact was created, and we can select whom we want to send the email address, the sender address. I'm just going to I can select the user, basically the risk user email address from here, and because we need to send the email to that person only. So we have the risk user from contact, and here I'm going to select my email address itself. We have all the details, and we created the action screen as well. I'm going to link this, and we'll click on save. Okay, so now we have the flow ready for us. We can activate it first, then we'll go back to the contact object through the object manager. So let's go to the object manager, and here let's look for the contact object. So we are on the contact object. So I'm going to create an action button from here. So I'll say create record. So actually we have to go to the account, because we need to initiate from the account. So I'm on the account object, and I'm going to select action from here. So our action type is create a record, and the target is the contact in our case. And I'm going to sorry, the action has to be the flow, and this is the flow that we just created, and we can give the label as create contact, say from account. We have given all the required details, and click on save. Now we created the action button. Now we'll go back and add it to the page layout. So okay, now we added the button on the account object. We'll go to the account and go to the page layouts. So we will select the account layout. So from here we can go to the mobile and lightning actions, and this is the action that we added. Select this one, and we can add it on the Salesforce mobile and lightning experience actions. Click on save. Okay, so from here we will go back to the account. Let's go to the accounts, and we will select one of the accounts from this list. So we have this account, and let's see if we have the button here. Okay, so I have the button called create contact from account. Now we'll test how this one works. So I selected the button. Now as we can see here, we got multiple fields for creating a contact. So we can select the salutation. So let's select the default value, and we can give the name as the first name and the last name. And we select some email, and we'll give phone number. And also, as we can see here, we got the account name pre-populated, and we give the title as the manager. And we have a toggle here to give an option to the sales users for selecting the risk analyst user. So when I mark it as enable, then we will get an option to select the user. So in this case, I have a set of users. We can filter it out on the field level as well, or yeah, we can filter it out on the field level. So as of now, I'm just going to pick up one of the users from this list, and I'm going to select the Charlie Baker, and click on next. So as you can see here, there is a record got created with the required details. The fields that we mapped, we have the title, we have the account name, phone, we have all the required details on this record. And as we can see, we got the risk analyst also on this one. Okay, now the contact record has been created. Now we'll go and check if we received any email. So as you can see here, we got an email as contact was created. That is the subject that we have given. And so this is the body that we passed through the flow. So I'll just go back to the flow again to show what we passed. So in our case, so this is the flow. Let's see. So this is a flow like create contact from account, and I'll go to the action, and so this is the subject that we passed, and this is the body that we passed for the for email notification, and so these are the details that we sent to the end user. So this is how easily we can create flows and add different fields as per our team's requirements, and we can customize this one, like we can add one more screen here, and then we can directly navigate the user to contact record. So these are the different ways that we can manage. And also for the email one, we like we were using all the values directly in the email in the flow, but if we want to pick up an email alert, we can directly uh, uh, go for the, like if we have any email alerts, we can directly pick up the email alert from this list as well. So this is how we can easily customize the contact creation from account. So with this, just completing my demo. So if you guys have any questions, you can add your questions as comments, and also you can go to my blog and read the details about different Salesforce functionalities. And thanks to everyone. Thank you all.